folks, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by your faculty Sushma KP. So what is the topic we will be looking into? France recognizes Palestine as an official state. What are the topics that we will be discussing in this particular issue? First and foremost, we will see as to why is it in use, what is the international law to recognize a state, and what is France's foreign policy with regarding to the West Asia? What are the legal and geopolitical angle involved in recognizing a state? What are the other stakeholders' response to your France's decision? What are some of the possible chokeholds, your Middle Eastern conflict that we will see with respect to your Israel and Palestine? We will also be looking into your humanitarian crisis, and we will be seeing India's position. And we will also be seeing a possible mains question from this topic. Alright. Now I discussed the topic, I discussed the issue we will be discussing. How is it relevant to your UPSC preparation? See, from a GS2 perspective of international relations, we will be seeing a realignment of global powers. What do I mean by realignment of global powers? Your divide between your global north and global south, and also your south-south diplomacy with respect to your Palestine issue. Then again, from your GS paper 2 perspective, we will see it from your global groupings. Global groupings as in how? The difference of opinion between your UNGA and UNSC. The same GS paper 2 perspective, we will also see how is India trying to do its foreign policy with respect to the balancing act of Israel and Palestine. We will see the same issue or a question is possible from this topic from your GS paper 4 perspective of ethics with respect to humanitarian crisis versus sovereignty. This particular topic can also be a possible question from your essay perspective, where questions can stem from towards a just world order or peace in West Asia. Is it a mirage or a mission? Understanding? Now, the context as to why this particular topic is in news is because your French President Emmanuel Macron has held that they will be officially recognizing Palestine as a state. Now, this is a very bold move you see from your diplomatic community. And also, this would be a win-win for your Palestine, which is unequivocally opposed by your Israel. Further down, we will be breaking down and seeing as to why such a thing is happening. Before we enter, we have a small announcement from Legacy IAS Academy. If you're someone who wants to begin your UPSC civil service examinations journey, look no further. You have found the one-stop solution with Legacy IAS Academy. What do I mean by that? Legacy IAS Academy offers you a strict batch size maintained at 40-member limit. There is also one-on-one mentorship session. You can interact with the educators and also develop a course chart as to how you can go about your UPSC preparations. Legacy IAS Academy offers you prelims test series, daily mains answer writing, interview mock. At the same point of time, it is also made sure that, let's say if you are a working professional or a student, Legacy IAS Academy also offers you weekend batches. Our courses are both in offline as well as online mode to suit your demands. All you have to do is call the number given below or check out Legacy IAS website. If you want to see how the classes are, you can schedule a demo class either offline and online. And look for yourself and begin your UPSC preparation journey. Let's get back to the topic. Now, when I mentioned your French President Emmanuel Macron has held that they will be officially recognizing Palestine as a legal state, this brings forward the question, what is the prerequisite necessities to recognize a particular piece of land or a territory as a state? French President Emmanuel Macron has also held that he will be bringing up this issue in your UNGA in September, that is your UN General Assembly. First and foremost, if you have to recognize a territory as a state, a legal entity, then it has to have a permanent population, defined territory, a government, and capacity to enter into relation with other states. There are two types of recognitions that we will be having. One is de jure and de facto. When we say de jure recognition of a state, which means it is permanent in nature, it is legal in nature. De facto recognition means it is just informal, it doesn't have any legal backing. What French has held, or the recognition that France wants to do for Palestine, is de jure, which means permanent, having legal capability. Now, this brings us to the question: is France the first state to recognize Palestine as a state, or have any other states recognized this? First and foremost, you have to understand that more than 114 nations have recognized Palestine as a state. So, this might also bring us the question, so what is it? France going to become the 141st country in recognizing Palestine as a state? No. France will be the one of the biggest Western powers to recognize Palestine as a legal entity or a state. This is a very big win for Palestine. But this comes at a cost. What are the costs we will be discussing? This is a bold move we are telling, which could attract possible backlash from your Western allies who are pro-Israel. Example, your USA. This could also lead to a norm-setting precedent, which means the example set by France would possibly put your EU, UK, and also other member countries to do the same. Understanding? Now, what is France's foreign policy in West Asia? See, France has constantly spoken against your Israeli treatment of Palestine in Gaza. At the same point of time, when your Hamas attacked Israel, France offered support for Israel. France is on the side that yes, Israel also has the right to exist. But now it has increasingly become vocal because of Israel blocking humanitarian aid to Gaza. They have claimed that it has led to a condition where the hunger has become extreme. The human right violation has become extreme. The humanitarian crisis has gone beyond repairable damage. And also, France tells that one way we are going to bring peace for this is recognize Palestine as an official state. When we do this, then this would actively mean that we are bringing back the two-state solution into effective active order. What is this two-state solution? See, this is something which has been, with respect to your Israel-Palestine conflict, two-state solution has been preferred by many, wherein both of them peacefully exist and one doesn't create a deterrence for the other's security or existence. France tells that by giving a formal recognition to Palestine, it would mean that we are one step moving closer towards the two-state solution. Israel has condemned this, stating that recognizing Palestine as a state would be equivalent to rewarding terrorism. Palestine has welcomed this move from France. Your US has not made any official statement on this yet. Understanding? One of the issues as to why France is dealing with this is because it has a good amount of both your Jewish and Muslim population, which whatever happens in your Middle East, disturbances are having a spillover effect on France. And it wants to begin a peaceful solution and not a temporary fix. So, what is the legal geopolitical angle that we are seeing? 1967, the conflict between your Israel and Palestine over the territories of Gaza, West Bank, and East Jerusalem, which Palestine claims is its and which Israel took over in post your 1967 war. Two-state solution is endorsed even by the United Nations for peace and also by many member countries, including India, also sides with your two-state solution. Now, what are the stakeholders responding to this? France President Emmanuel Macron tells that peace is possible, and that is what we are trying to do when trying to recognize Palestine as an official state. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu holds that this move by France is nothing but rewarding terrorism and it affects the national security of Israel. Palestine, your Palestine Liberation Organization has welcomed this move and held that this proves the right for self-determination for Palestinians. UK Prime Minister Starmer has held that and also criticized the humanitarian crisis that is going on in Gaza and held that it is the inalienable right of your Palestine and the humanitarian diplomacy should take the forefront here. Your US has maintained a strategic silence and has not given an official statement on this. What are the chokeholds? Meaning, because of this France's move, what is possible things that we can expect? It could lead to risk of tokenism. See, just mere official recognition without trying to de-escalate the situation or without having to, let's say, if you're not going to build mutual trust among the members, just official recognition would mean to a symbolic act. Just official recognition would mean to a symbolic act which could even lead to retaliation in turn. Yes. The next is with respect to your global groupings. UNGA is siding on the lines of Palestine getting an official statehood, and whereas your UNSC has been held by your veto powers and constantly it is vetoed by your USA when it comes to recognizing official statehood of your Palestine. Arab world's reaction, yes, by doing this, French move of doing this might earn it points with your Arab and Muslim nations. But this might also attract anti-France backlash from your pro-Israeli allies. At the same point of time, on Middle East issue itself, with other member countries such as Germany and all, this would create a rift in the EU itself. So these are the possible conditions that might happen because of this. One of the reason is your US announced something called as Middle East Peace Plan, wherein Israeli occupation of Palestine to be made permanent, and Palestine has held that if that was to happen, then Palestine will withdraw from majority of your Oslo Accords. What is this Oslo Accord? Oslo Accord was agreed by your Israel and Palestine Liberation Organization in 1993 and 1995, which speaks about your two-state solution, where they divide the territory into your Area A, Area B, Area C with differencing control of each. But after your second intifada, movement towards your two-state solution or peaceful negotiation has decreased. One of the important thing we have to see, and all the member countries, especially your European Union, West, everyone is criticizing alongside your global South countries, are how blatant disregard for humanitarian aid, especially in your Gaza. Your international organizations have also claimed there is severe malnutrition, breakdown of infrastructure, bombing of aid trucks. This has affected the population very badly. This has also led to ICJ cases. International Criminal Justice Court has put cases on your Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. What are the implications for global governance and also with respect to humanitarian crisis if we let this happen is, if we do not use our soft power and try to address the humanitarian issue or humanitarian diplomacy is not taken now, then this would have a wide-fletching conflict in the region. This is a collective responsibility of all member states to reach out to this first. We have to be in a rules based world order, which would mean that soft power diplomacy now is taking the front hand over your hard power diplomacy, which is running the field. The critical question that would come, see, your France, it does not take a side as to Palestine. When your Hamas attacked Israel, it offered support to Israel. Now, when Gaza is suffering because of humanitarian crisis, it is trying to offer solution there, which means France is actually trying to move towards your two-state solution. But this could also mean, is state recognition enough without conflict resolution? No, it is not enough, because this would again provoke more issues without any solutions, or this would become a mere temporary fix and not a long-term solution. Could this polarize the UN and global blocs further? Yes, the possibility is higher. With respect to the divide between global north and global south, or your south-south diplomacy moving towards Palestine, the UNGA and UNSC are conflicted on this opinion. UNGA is pro-Palestine or getting an official status for Palestine, whereas your UNSC is marred by your veto, and that is coming from your United States. What is India's position with respect to your Israel and Palestine conflict? See, very initially, or India's traditional support from your Nehru point of time was towards Palestine. But post 1990s, India is trying to do the balancing act between your Israel and Palestine, which means it is not taking any critical stance against any one other, because it engages with both of them, both Israel as well as Palestine. With Israel, it has a strong culture with respect to your defense, agriculture, and also India has held two things. It does agree for Israel's right to defend itself for self defense. At the same point of time, it also speaks on Palestine getting a statehood. So, India is more towards the two state solution, and it wants to broker, as in, and it wants to move towards peaceful resolution. India's evolving stand, it recognizes and respects Israel's right to defend itself or Israel's security. It also advocates for diplomatic and dialogue towards your peaceful coexistence of Israel and Palestine. India supports Palestine's own state, own independent sovereign state. Now, what could be a possible main question from this topic? Look at this. France's recognition of Palestine marks a shift in global diplomacy. How, again, we say UNGA versus UNSC, also a rift between your EU countries itself. Discuss the implications of this move for the Middle East peace progress and India's strategic balancing. This question, the answer is what we discussed in the video. Understanding? So, in summation, what is the issue? French or your France has moved for recognizing Palestine and have decided to introduce it in your UN General Assembly. This could put pressure on EU on its Middle East policy. One of the reasons they are trying to do is to address the humanitarian issue or starvation in Gaza. This could possibly have a domino effect or a spillover effect on all the other countries, and also have again a rift between the global powers. Okay. With this, we have come to the end of the content. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it along with your friends. Thank you.